The near-name change that nearly broke the royals, Harry Spencer dilemma. Hello dear viewers, and welcome back to our channel, your favorite spot for peeling back the velvet curtain on royal life and catching glimpses of the drama no one wants to officially admit. Today, we've got something that might just leave your jaw on the floor. It's about Prince Harry, yes, again, and a decision so explosive that it reportedly rattled the very foundation of the House of Windsor. Imagine for a second that Harry wasn't called Prince Harry Mountbatten Windsor anymore. Imagine if he was Harry Spencer. Sounds minor? Just a simple paperwork shuffle? In the normal world, maybe. But in royal circles, names aren't just names. They're dynastic declarations, heavy with bloodlines, power, loyalty, and centuries of unspoken rules. For Harry to even consider swapping out the Windsor brand for Spencer was more than a private rebellion. It was a symbolic slap that might have forever rewritten his role in royal history. Why now? The cracks that made this possible. The whispers first started swirling just weeks after Harry publicly floated the idea of reconciliation. Remember those hopeful headlines? Harry wanting to mend things with Charles. A fresh start with William. The narrative almost sounded like a glossy Hallmark card. But behind palace walls, insiders apparently knew a very different story was brewing. According to credible reports, during a quiet trip to the UK earlier this year, Harry raised the idea of dropping Mountbatten Windsor entirely. He would adopt his late mother's maiden name, becoming Harry Spencer. And that idea didn't pop up out of nowhere. It was reportedly discussed with his uncle, Charles Spencer, who, to his credit, advised against it not out of sentiment, but because of how legally tangled and constitutionally awkward it would be to unwind a royal surname so enmeshed with national identity. What's in a name? Everything, if you're a Windsor. For most of us, a surname change might mean little more than new paperwork. But for the Windsors, names signal dynastic ties, state duties, and even lines of succession. Harry's Mountbatten Windsor is more than a nod to family heritage. It's a stamp of belonging to the reigning dynasty. To walk away from it wouldn't just be a personal rebrand. It would be, quite literally, tearing up the symbolic contract tying him to his royal blood. It's why commentators reacted so violently. To many, this wasn't Harry exploring his identity. It was Harry preparing to torch the last fragile bridges connecting him to the monarchy. And if he had gone through with it, the ramifications would have echoed across palaces and parliament alike. Changing a royal surname isn't some backroom deed poll affair. It's tied to constitutional fabric, requiring more than a lawyer's signature. It would have been a dynastic rupture, a quiet kind of abdication in all but official title. The Diana factor, branding, memory, and ghosts. Let's be brutally honest here. This wasn't only about family legacy. The name Spencer carries enormous emotional power, especially across the Atlantic. In the US, Diana is still treated like a near saint. The princess who broke the mold, showed real vulnerability, and by tragic fate, became immortal. For many Americans, Harry is Diana's truest heir. Even his Netflix Confessions and tell-all memoir played up this parallel. Adopting the Spencer name would have cemented the narrative, Diana's son, standing apart from the cold Windsors, championing the causes she loved. Cynics say it would have been a PR masterstroke. Harry Spencer headlines practically write themselves, dripping with tragic poetry and brand potential. Imagine the documentaries, the new foundations, the Oprah follow-ups all neatly wrapped in the Spencer legend. But for the monarchy, a living nightmare. Because taking the Spencer name would have implicitly claimed Diana's memory as Harry's alone, sidelining William, who after all is her son too. It would have signaled to the world, I carry the torch of Diana, not my brother, not this monarchy. Me. The silent fury of William and Charles. Sources say there's been no official statement from Harry or Meghan's camp denying these reports. In royal watching, silence often screams louder than 1,000 press releases. Palace insiders suggest the mere possibility left both King Charles and Prince William shaken. For Charles, it was more than a public insult. It felt like his own flesh and blood formally rejecting the dynasty he's spent his entire life preparing to lead. As for William, friends say he would see this not only as an institutional betrayal, but a deeply personal one. Diana was his mother just as much as Harry's. Her name, Spencer, is his inheritance too. For Harry to seize it, brandish it as a flag against the Windsors, would slice painfully into old wounds. It would be as if Harry were saying, "Diana belongs to me. Her legacy is mine to shape, not yours." Is Harry truly done with Windsor, or just trying to scare them? Interestingly, while the legal complexity apparently stopped Harry from finalizing the switch, insiders believe just considering it exposes a raw truth. He's still halfway out the door. Some suggest this was a threat disguised as soul-searching. A test balloon to see how far he could push the palace, how deeply he could wound them before they might push back, perhaps even severing his last official ties. There's a strain of thought that Harry wants the best of both worlds. To capitalize on the Windsor birthright when it suits him, but also to wield Diana's legacy like an independent brand when he needs global sympathy. It's a tightrope he's walked clumsily for years, and this near-name change was perhaps his riskiest balancing act yet. Meghan, the Sussex question, and brand contradictions. It also raised fascinating side questions. If Harry became Harry Spencer, what would Meghan become? She's often still publicly called Meghan Markle, despite being technically the Duchess of Sussex. Would she have dropped the Sussex styling to become Meghan Spencer, cashing in on Diana's posthumous magic? Their children, Archie and Lilibet, were formally registered as Mountbatten Windsor, the traditional compound name blending Prince Philip's family line with the Queen's. But even they are often called Archie Sussex and Lilibet Sussex in public. So what then? Would Archie Spencer become the new banner for Harry's side of the family brand? The very idea ties royal etiquette in knots. Titles aren't just about vanity, they anchor who belongs to which house, who inherits what, and who sits where in the national imagination. The reason this matters so much to the crown. For King Charles and Prince William, the symbolism would have been catastrophic. It's one thing for Harry to live abroad, do Netflix deals, give lectures on trauma and healing. But for him to drop the family name? That's the monarchy itself being publicly rebuffed by one of its own blood heirs. Behind closed doors, there were apparently discussions that if Harry had pushed forward, Charles might have had no choice but to formally cut him off, removing remaining patronages, blocking financial ties, perhaps even instructing Parliament to formally adjust titles. A quiet Cold War could have become an outright dynastic divorce. A step not taken, but a wound laid bare. In the end, Harry didn't become Harry Spencer. Perhaps the logistical nightmare was too daunting. Perhaps the emotional fallout with William was a cliff too high to jump from. Or perhaps, deep down, some fragile thread of loyalty still holds. But the very fact he stood on that edge, pondering whether to leap, tells us how fractured things remain inside the House of Windsor. This story isn't just about one impulsive idea. It's about a man torn between profound resentments and lingering duties. About a family that can't quite trust each other, even after years of therapy-friendly sound bites about unity and moving forward. And for the monarchy, it's a chilling reminder, the cracks aren't fixed. They're just papered over for now. So what do you think? Was Harry ever serious about wanting to reconcile, or was this name change saga proof he's long been planning his final exit? And if he had become Harry Spencer, would that have been a beautiful tribute to his mother or a devastating betrayal of his father and brother? Drop your thoughts in the comments. We're dying to hear your takes. If you enjoyed this deep dive into royal chaos, give us a thumbs up, subscribe for more royal reveals, and hit that notification bell so you never miss when the next chapter of this modern royal soap opera drops. Thanks for watching and stay tuned. With this family, the next bombshell is never far away.